Hello, friends and family. I am Marla Hill with The Turnaround. The Turnaround is rebuilding America, one nation under God, for generations. And so we're about prayer movement, and we're about also using the book of Nehemiah to advance God's kingdom here in this earth. And what we have been noticing here at the Turnaround is the children. And what needs to be rebuilt is the children's gate, so to speak. So Nehemiah rebuilt the border of Jerusalem, but what needs to be rebuilt in America is our foundation of trusting God. And how can we do that? It seems overwhelming. I've been mourning the status of our country and the moral degradation of our land. And what I've seen from the Word of God is if we will focus upon the little children, we can begin to quickly rebuild for the future a bedrock foundation. And so, journey with us as we get to interview how do we adopt the public school, in particular the public grade school, as our mission field. Imagine that. So, the National School Chaplain Association was begun by Rocky Malloy and his wife Yoska, great friends of mine, and I've invited them to share with us about how to adopt the public school. Hey, Rocky, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Marla. Thanks for the opportunity to share about school chaplains.
Awesome. Could you tell us about your program and how it works?
Well, we started it overseas as a way to protect children, and it was very successful. As a matter of fact, we have over 40,000 chaplains working in 23 countries, some 35,000 schools, 3 million people in this network being ministered to every day by school chaplains.
Wow.
And so the state of Texas took a look at it and said, we want those same outcomes for our children. 80% reduction in teen pregnancies, 37% increase in graduations. And the most important one for me is 0 suicides. People just don't
Wow.
believe it. They think I'm making it up, or they think that the data is not correct. But we pay people to research this data and to collect it from schools. And 0 suicides. That means the chaplains are performing a very critical function in school. And just like you said, the elementary and middle schools are just as needy, and I think even more important, because by the time we wait to high school, it's rehabilitation.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk to younger children, it helps put them on a trajectory of success.
Wow. That is awesome. Okay, so to do this, I mean, this sounds exciting. Why don't we have chaplains everywhere in the schools right now?
Well, that's a good question because we have chaplains in the military. The Senate and the House have chaplains. Every state legislator, every capital in the United States at state level has a chaplain. Uh, First responders, airports have chaplains. The DFW airport has 35 chaplains paid by the state of Texas to be there for anxious travelers. So if we can take care of anxious travelers, our first responders, military, people that are under stress, and teachers are proven to have the same levels of average stress as first responders, why have we discriminated against them by not offering them the same spiritual care as everyone else? That's a great mystery, and that's what I've got a calling to do.
Wow. Okay, I'm inspired. I would love to see a chaplain in every school, and in particular the grade schools. What do I do? How does this begin?
Well, first off would be advocacy, right? To talk to your legislators. There's legislation now working in over 20 states in the United States to pay chaplains to go on campus. One is to advocate for it. The other one is to consider actually supporting a chaplains or a chaplain organization. We'd like to throw our hat in that ring, and then to become a chaplain. Now, so any school in the United States right now can hire a chaplain or allow a chaplain as a volunteer. And a lot of people can't really give that much time, so they could be what's called a deputized chaplain. That means they raise support, just like a missionary, like so many other nonprofit organizations that pay them to work full-time in a school or even part-time.
Wow. Okay, so I want to dissect each of those components really carefully And so we'll be doing that throughout the rest of the week. But what would you say to leave us with? Why is this important? Why should we have a concern to bring a chaplain to the schools?
The number one concern of a parent is that their child comes home.
Mm,
When a chaplain's in school, that campus is safer. It's
mm,
safer for the individual child who's suffering some kind of issue not to kill themselves. That's a fact.
mm.
It actually not providing a school chaplain creates mental illness, and that is a fact that's been testified before the U.S. Congress. So if we don't have spiritual care provided, we create mental illness. The other reason is that school chaplains have proven to reduce gun violence and other violent acts in school. And that we can get into it in great detail, but they have a unique responsibility. They're the only person in charge of the spiritual morale of that campus. Now, in
Wow.
a perfect world, nobody else is doing that. And that's why they have a chaplain on garrisons, on warships, to maintain morale and keep interior violence from happening, because it's a way to discharge violence. The chaplain is a confidential source. So when you talk to the chaplain, the student doesn't have to worry about it, goes on their Holy Grail transcript. And a teacher can talk to a chaplain without worrying it becomes gossip or something that would be used against him or her by the administration.
Wow, so needed. Well, I'm so excited to be rebuilding America, one nation under God, for generations, and looking at how to bring chaplains into the schools. So join us over this week, and we're going to take a deep dive into this.